I just went to Chick-fil-A and got some lunch. Y'all want to know my Chick-fil-A order for today? Pretty boring. I got an 8-piece grilled nugget with Chick-fil-A sauce, a zesty buffalo sauce, a fry, and then 2 barbecue sauces for that. And then I got a lemonade. So after I get done yapping, I'm going to partake in my lunch. But I have thoughts, which is why I'm here. And I need to tell you what your friends won't tell you about why you are stuck. The reason that you are stuck is because you are stubborn. The reason that you are stuck is because you are stubborn. There is no way that we can be, so intelligent. Everybody always tells you you are so smart. Everybody always tells you you're so talented, so creative. You're a genius. You are so anointed, right? You are so in tune, so intuitive, so amazing in every way, You are always getting all of these compliments or maybe even affirming yourself of your own greatness and your own ability and your own capacity. And yet your life does not reflect that same genius, that same intelligence, that same giftedness, that same intellect, that same intuition. And so there has to be a disconnect here, because there's no way that on one hand you could be so anointed and so amazing and so wonderful, but then you're living this life which does not line up with those things. You're unfulfilled, you're unhappy, your mental health is struggling, or you just find yourself repeating seemingly the same season over and over and over and over and over again. And so you're trying to figure out, well, if I am so much of all of this positive, why am I experiencing or suffering through so much negative? And I have been there. I am there more or less, walking out of that as I'm coming into different understanding and allowing myself to let go of mindsets that just are not helpful and fruitful, right? But this is the reason. If you feel like that's you, all of this capacity, all of this potential, but stuck, it is probably because you are stubborn. What we have to understand about life is that life is essentially twofold, in my opinion. We are here on this planet, one, to make a contribution, and we are here to receive the lessons that grow us into the person that can make the contribution, right? So we all have gifts, we all have talents, we all have abilities, we all have something to contribute to this ecosystem called society or called existence. But in order for us to get to that place, we have to first receive the lessons that allow us to get past the barriers and the blockages that will prevent us from making our contribution. So a lot of times we deal with fear, insecurity, shame, doubt, regret, stagnation, perilousness, physical or mental health challenges that, if not dealt with, will prevent us from making our contribution most effectively. And so all of what we are experiencing day to day is working for us, in the sense that it is to allow us to confront our barriers and our blockages, learn the lessons, internalize the lessons, so that we are maturing into the person that can make the contribution. And so when you find yourself experiencing suffering or hardship, it is only so that you can learn the lesson, make the changes, and make your contribution. So when we are experiencing cycles and we are experiencing the same things over and over, the same bad relationships, just in the form of a new person, I've been through this in my last 7 relationships. The last 7 men that I've been with have cheated on me. The last 5 jobs that I have been at have fired me. The last 3 years have been the same health battles. Every church that I go to, I'm bumping heads with leadership, or I continue to go through cycles of depression or anxiety or whatever things that I'm battling. The only reason that you would still be there is because you have not learned the lesson, internalized the lesson, and made the change, which means that you are demonstrating stubbornness or unwillingness to practice the art of self-awareness in some way. If you want to be the most impactful, fruitful version of yourself, and you want to be the type of person that is making progress towards your potential, you have to also be the most self-aware version of yourself that you can be. There is no reason that you experience the same season 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, 2024, 2025, and you have to experience it again in 2026. There is no reason that will be happening if you are self-aware enough to say, hey, I recognize this. I recognize the pattern in myself, and now that I've recognized the pattern in myself, I am willing to do something differently. This is why the whole concept sometimes bugs me when people talk about me versus me, me versus me, me versus me. I get the premise is that I'm comparing myself against myself versus comparing myself to my peers. I get it. You know, we shouldn't be comparing ourselves to our peers necessarily. We can pull inspiration, but, you know, we can be our own mile marker. I get it. But on the same hand, why is it always me versus me? Why is there always this internal tension that has one version of you fighting and wrestling with another version of you? Why is there always tension? Why is there never ease when it comes to you maturing? Why is there never ease when it comes to you learning the lesson? Why does it always have to be a struggle and a fight against you before you get the picture? Why does it take 5 and 6 years for you to learn the lesson so that you can? It shouldn't always be this me versus me. Why can it never be me for me? Me cheerleading me affirming me validating me correcting me learning me. I've learned myself to such a degree that I don't have to stay here anymore. I can move on. I can matriculate. And I've been so proud of myself lately because when I've been presented with same scenarios that I have been presented with in years past, and I've seen the growth in how I responded, like, oh, I don't want to repeat that again. This looks very similar to 2017, and I definitely don't want to do it again. Not in 2026 when I'm almost a decade older. And I've been self-aware enough to say, any outcome that I've experienced is only the byproduct of my own decision making. So I need to grow in my self-awareness so that my decision making can be so quality that I am comfortable with the outcome, whether I foresaw it or whether I did not. Because I know that I'm choosing from a place of sensitivity and self-awareness. I'm not choosing out of fear. I'm not choosing out of a deficit. I'm not choosing out of shame, but I'm choosing because I'm learning my own patterns, and I'm choosing things that I feel like look and smell like my desired outcome. You have to learn how to choose better. If you are stuck, it is because you are probably stubborn. Or if you are stuck, you might be stubborn in the sense that you have not humbled yourself to find the resources that you need to get the information that you need to get unstuck. I guarantee you that whatever you do not know exists in a book. It exists in a course, or either someone else knows the information that you need to break out of this season that you need to learn and apply. But regardless, it is of our own doing the reason why we have to live lives that are seemingly so repetitive. And so your friends might not tell you, but I'm going to be your friend today and tell you, you need to heighten your level of self-awareness, whether that's through journaling. I'm in a real heavy journaling season because I'm working through The Artist's Way, which is a book if you're not familiar with it. So whether that's through journaling, through prayer, meditation, through counseling, whatever you need to do, you need to learn yourself to such a degree that you will stop making the same choices that yield the same undesirable outcomes. All right? I believe it. You are so anointed. You are so talented. You are so creative. But you're holding on too tightly to ways of thinking, ways of being, and ways of living your life that are yielding no fruit. It's time to let it go and be willing to be different, to choose different, to show up different. All right? So I have thoughts. Those are my thoughts. I'm going to eat my Chick-fil-A. and find myself probably in some more self-reflection, because I'm committed to my own escape from my own level of stuckness, and I'm seeing my own progress in breaking some of those cycles. So I want the same for you. Talk to you guys tomorrow.